Come with me, toy fans.
Hey toy fans, over the last few years that I have run the Analog Toys YouTube channel, I've come across a number of comments where people are suggesting that Action Man is a rip-off of G.I. Joe. And more recently now, Action Force is a rip-off of G.I. Joe. Now, before you think I'm going to go into one of my rants, I'm not going to do that, because the majority of these comments have actually been more kind of inquisitive, or people actually saying like, hey, for years I thought Action Man was a G.I. Joe ripoff, now I realise that it isn't, which is good. My videos are explaining this to people. Well, there is this one guy who made a comment on my Action Force video, and he can go spit, but I just thought I would clarify this once and for all so that everybody is aware. In order to be a rip-off or a knockoff or a bootleg, that is when you copy a toy without permission, without using a license. Action Man was brought to the UK in 1966. It was G.I. Joe copied directly from Hasbro under license. Okay, there was a legal agreement. I'm sure Palitoy paid some sort of a fee to Hasbro, and you can even see on the very early 1960s boxes that Action Man is sold under license from the Hassenfeld Brothers Incorporated, which is the original name for Hasbro, the Hassenfeld Brothers Incorporated. But yeah, to suggest that he is a rip-off or a knockoff, it's just not correct. A true rip-off of G.I. Joe is Mego's Fighting Yank, who quite famously Mego had to settle out of court with Hasbro, because when they decided to make the Fighting Yank, and I think they may have given samples of G.I. Joe figures to the factory in, I don't know where it was, Hong Kong, or somewhere in Asia, you know, where they were making the Fighting Yank. Quite famously, the G.I. Joe figure had accidentally been moulded with a thumbnail on the wrong side of his thumb, which the sculptors in this factory for Mego directly copied, and Hasbro were able to take Mego to court. As I said, they settled out of court. So that is a true rip-off. This is a product that was sold under license in the UK. And the first few years, as you can see here, I've got a very early Action Man, Action Soldier. It's a direct copy of the G.I. Joe Action Soldier. But then as the line progressed, Palitoy really turned Action Man into its own brand, its own thing, with some very famous British regiments. We got some German soldiers like the Panzer Captain here. And also Palitoy were very inventive. The first innovation that was brought to the G.I. Joe brand for the actual figures was the voice box for the Talking Commander. And that voice box again was brought to the UK to give us the Action Man Talking Commander. But then the next two innovations, which in America you call lifelike hair and kung fu grip, or in the UK we call realistic hair and gripping hands, both of those innovations were developed by Palitoy in the UK. And then the technology and the design was basically sent back to the UK to bring into the G.I. Joe product range. So if it weren't for Palitoy and their innovative skills, American children would never have had G.I. Joes with lifelike hair and gripping hands, or kung fu grip, I should say. And we're also talking about the company Palitoy now. And I know a lot of Star Wars collectors around the world clamour after the Palitoy Death Star, the cardstock Death Star, because it was... I'm not going to get into a debate about whether it's superior to the Kenner one, because honestly I don't know. I own the Kenner Death Star. I do not own the Palitoy Death Star. Some people say it's superior. I think they're both great toys, but having not ever examined in person the Palitoy Death Star, I can't compare the two. But people do clamour after this product. And it's not a rip-off of Star Wars. It was a licensed product, just that it was only sold in the UK and, well, I think Australia, and I don't know if it came out in Europe, but it was sold by Toll Toys in Australia and Palitoy in the UK. So again, we're talking about the same company here taking a licensed American product and selling it in a foreign market it's not a rip-off, okay? It's not a knockoff, it's not a bootleg, it's a licensed product. Now we get to Action Force, where a lot of people have said that this is a G.I. Joe rip-off. That is not the case, and I can very easily explain why. So due to the popularity of Star Wars toys and the 3 3/4 inch scale that they adopted, that Kenner adopted for Star Wars, it made, that was the new scale that all the kids wanted for their toys. So Hasbro, having not had any G.I. Joe product on the shelves for a number of years, wanted to bring G.I. Joe back, and they thought, hey, let's do it in this scale with all the vehicles like Star Wars did. Well, Palitoy was doing the exact same thing with Action Man. Okay, they, sales of Action Man were starting to fall, and they thought, perhaps we can shrink him down to the Star Wars size. Kids seem to like that size. We can do a ton of vehicles and push them out. So to prove that Action Force is not a G.I. Joe ripoff, Action Force was first revealed to the public at the British Toy Fair on January 31st, 1982 in the UK in London. Okay, January 31st, 1982. Less than 2 weeks later, Hasbro revealed G.I. Joe to the world at the New York Toy Fair in 1982, around mid-February, about 2 weeks after. So, although they were designing them at the same time, technically Action Force was revealed to the world first. So I don't see how they can be ripping off G.I. Joe when G.I. Joe wasn't out there in that scale to be ripped off. So that to me pretty much sums it up. Action Man was a licensed product that developed over the years to become a very British product, and Action Force was just Palitoy's way of shrinking down Action Man. And they couldn't have copied G.I. Joe. They actually probably more copied Star Wars because they used the 5-point articulation for the figures. But then, because they had previously had this relationship between Palitoy and Hasbro, when they were selling Action Man in the UK, that relationship kind of went away for a few years because G.I. Joe was no more. Well, following the first year of success with Action Force, Palitoy re-established this relationship with Hasbro and said, look, you're doing these fantastic products. We have sold stuff under license from you before. Let's do it again, which is why in 1983, when we started to see the Action Force teams, which I'm obviously doing a series of videos on at the moment, that's why we started to see G.I. Joe products start to creep into the Action Force line, although vastly different, wildly recolored figures, recolored vehicles, some really, really exciting stuff. For any of you out there who think that Action Man or Action Force is a rip-off of G.I. Joe, you're wrong, okay? It's a license. Action Man was licensed, and Action Force was an idea of Palitoy's that they went with and actually got out to Toy Fair a couple of weeks before Hasbro revealed the 1982 G.I. Joe A Real American Hero toy line. So, all right, I just wanted to clarify that because I get a lot of comments about it. So, all right, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video coming pretty soon. Cheers.